brush it off, move on, and sort of do what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think, it's very admirable of you to sort of open up on the other end of that, though, because you do hear plenty about sort of the idealistic, just don't beat yourself up about it. And we have just said
it. Yeah, but you practice what you preach, right?
You do. It is hard to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
I think the best thing, the plan of action for this is to be aware of the fact it's something you do and just keep trying. Keep seeing how far you can sort of push that before you get to a point where you're okay. I'm certainly better than I was on this, but it's taken time, and it's I think the point you've just made there is actually light that should be shone more often with self-improvement, because there is this sort of culture of you are not allowed to make a mistake, otherwise you belong to it's cultish. That's the way I'd put it. Self-improvement is cultish, and as a result of that, when you don't do what the cult says you should do, you feel outcasted.
Yeah.
You feel like you're not a part of it anymore.
And especially these, cult leaders, as you would assume, Andrew Tate probably is, technically a cult leader, because people who support him think he does nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And that's not possible in a person. Everyone does something wrong. And when you defend someone, this is a big one, Donald Trump. His supporters, like his proper supporters, will see him do something wrong, and they'll try and find some little nuanced reason for it, or things like that. I think it's very dangerous in my opinion. But that's what
it is dangerous. That's exactly the word for it, because it doesn't leave you with sort of useful advice. It leaves you with feelings of guilt and negativity.
Yeah.
And I think one of my recent realizations is if something doesn't have a positive through road, then I don't care about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take on the negative feelings of, if I make a mistake, I'm not taking those negative feelings on unless I'm aware of the fact that I can spin it positively. And I think that's something that is totally devoid in terms of advice when it comes to these cultish sort of ideas with self-improvement, which I shall say for the caveat, I'm certainly a part of this cult in some way, shape or form. I'm certainly in there.
Yeah.
That feeling or that sentiment of if you make a mistake, it really doesn't matter that much. Just keep pressing forward is not something that is voiced by those that are at the top of this tree.
Yeah, certainly not enough. I'm sure there are some that do.
I don't know. I think the only person I've ever heard really say this would be, I think Sam Harris. I don't put Sam Harris into this. I put him into my hippie meditation cult.
Okay,
fine. Cult's the wrong word for that. But you know what I mean. He's over there. I think the self-improvement, the real sort of self-improvement guys, I think the only people that I've heard say this would be Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, with the paint thing.
Naval. And Chris Williamson.
Okay.
And I would say otherwise it's pretty devoid when it comes to, and in fairness I would say Goggins says it but he screams it at you.
He does. Does scream at you.
I think the idea of sort of just getting back on the horse as and when you can, or as soon as you can rather, is something that's really important for people to realise, because I think voicing a sort of sentiment close to the idea of a winner is a loser that just tried again or one more time. I think it's exactly that if you decide, well, I don't want to snack. This is something that is important to me. I want to make sure that I get control of this. If you just perpetually try, you will break through. You will, because it's just too much pressure. At some point or another, I am living proof of this with some of my own borderline addictions, I suppose, that if you just keep saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and every time you do it, being aware of the fact it's something you don't want to do and trying again, eventually you might not get exactly where you want to get, but you will improve drastically.
Yeah.
I am miles ahead of myself when it comes to some of my more nefarious behaviours than I was, because I've been able to just look at it and go, mistakes are a part of the process, and that's an important thing. I think it's taking the whole picture, not just all of the glory of achieving the goal. It's all of the small insecurities and annoyances and upsets with yourself, taking those on the chin is a big thing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's sort of, I mean, kind of coming back to the point we made earlier, where it was, we were talking about how instead of getting into a negative mindset, sort of replacing it with positivity is probably the best way forward. And with having a negative mindset, I find that you end up sort of, you work out so that you don't get out of shape rather than work out to get in shape. So you're not working out for the positives, you're working out so that the negative doesn't happen.
Yeah,
that's
a great point.
That's probably, the worst kind of outlook you could have, I suppose, apart from, I'm not going to work out, there's no point.
Yeah,
there's no point, life doesn't matter, or whatever. That's probably a worse outlook, but I think it's important to have maybe not a goal, but some sort of reward, something to look forward to. I mean, you don't have to gamify it. I mean, you do for some other things.
I think gamifying is a pretty good plan.
No, it is. No, it is good.
I think it works pretty well.
I